What's up, everybody? Getting closer to kickoff for the Ravens and Chiefs. That's the opener on September 5th. And then right after that, it's showtime with everybody else on the weekend and Monday night. But first, we're going to get into the AFC breakdown, what we thinking is going to happen in the AFC as far as the division winners, who's going to finish first to last. You're watching the B&E Podcast presented by Premium. I'm Brandon. He's Ed. Ed, what's going on, man?
Another day, man. Another day. Did you see any of the Patriots Eagles game last
I
night?
did
Any of that
I
preseason game?
I did not. I heard that Drake May ran in for a touchdown. I honestly
Yeah.
didn't even know the score. I haven't even
Nah,
looked.
I didn't see the game either. I just saw some highlights. Apparently, Jacoby Brissett threw like an interception in the end zone. So I guess there's like a QB battle between him and May. I know the other dude. I forgot his name. I think it's like Milrow or something. I could be thinking about the other guy, but I don't think he'll be in the running for it. But May might have a chance to start if he keeps playing the way he does. I don't know. We'll see. We will
So what's
see.
the name is gone from there too then. The quarterback that was filling in for Mac and Cheese. Get ready to pull up their
Stidham?
roster. Uh
You talking about Stidham?
no. Oh, Zappy. Blake Zappy. Bailey Zappy. He's still there, okay.
Oh,
I was like, damn, they really cleaned house. But no, he's still on the roster.
got you.
Oh, Philadelphia won by one. 14-13 was that final.
Okay. There's been some close preseason games. I haven't watched a ton of them, but it seems like a lot of the games so far, anyway, have been closer than what I remember.
Yep.
All right, so let's get this opening drive going, everybody. The Browns rookie D tackle Mike Hall Jr. was arrested of domestic assault, domestic violence, allegedly used a gun to threaten a woman. I believe that woman was his fiance too. Hassan Reddick requested a trade from the Jets. The Eagles traded him to the Jets, I think, for a third round pick. And now he's requesting a trade from the Jets. I think he wants a new contract, and the Jets are kind of holding out on that. I wonder if you heard about this at all. Gerard Mayo, the Patriots head coach, she has a unique way to deal with fights during the preseason and training camps. He says if you're a starter, you'll play the whole game. If you're not a starter, you won't play at all. What you think about that, real quick, Brandon?
Yeah, I was looking over that and I hadn't heard of that. I didn't catch that headline. Very interesting, but um, and this is if they get into a fight with each other or a scrimmage, correct?
Yeah, in training camp, or I guess in training camp, I should say,
Yeah,
not a preseason
that's
game. Yeah,
that's very interesting. I mean, I still think as a starter they should be held accountable as well, honestly. But I mean,
he gonna make him
you
play the whole game. He said he gonna play the whole game.
but if you're not a starter, you're not going to play at all. So
Hey, well,
I think
don't fight.
everybody should. I don't know. Um, I think everybody should be on the same playing field in a sense. To me, it would kind of cause a little bit of division in the room, honestly. So the first
I
team
mean,
guys, yeah, you got to play the whole game. I do understand that, but you do put at risk of injuries. But at the same time, you're not a starter. You get benched. I don't know
yeah, you're at the risk of getting cut. I mean, it might be a
that
little
too.
worse for them. Yeah, might be a
That
little
too.
worse.
Yeah,
But
they don't get to prove their point. Okay, good point.
the Falcons have traded for linebacker Matt Judon and also signed safety Justin Simmons. Judon, he played with y'all a couple years ago, right? Or am I tripping?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And Chargers head coach John Harbaugh is now saying Colin Kaepernick won't join his coaching staff this season after offering a job to his former quarterback. Some bad news for the Bills. Bills linebacker Matt Milano is out indefinitely after suffering a torn biceps early this week in practice. And Vikings rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy is out for the season with a torn meniscus. Get well, young man. Best wishes to you. Go Blue. All right. Like Brandon said earlier, we're talking about the AFC today, specifically the AFC South and the AFC North. Want to start with the AFC South side of things. Brandon, what team you want to start with first, man?
I'm gonna start off with the division winners from last year, the 10-7 Texans. They lost to the Ravens in the divisional round last year. They really held their own in that first half against us, and then we kind of pulled away in the second half. The team that basically went from the bottom to the top. Um, last season under new head coach D'Amico Ryans at the time. I believe they'll continue their dominance as far as in the AFC South from year 2023 to 2024. This is another one of those 4 to 5 teams that I didn't think needed much major work or much additions as far as free agency goes or trades go with adding to their roster, even draft, honestly. Um, you've got the reigning offensive rookie of the year, of course, CJ Stroud, the defensive rookie of the year, big guy Will Anderson, Nick Casario, D'Amico Ryans. They kind of gave them an early Christmas gift. They both got two great teammates to go along with them. Daniil Hunter from the Vikings and Stephon Diggs, two veterans have succeeded at the pro level. D'Amico Ryans, he probably, honestly, staying on the page of him, he got 2 or 3 guys head coaching jobs, honestly, and you could say that weren't even on his coaching staff. Antonio Pierce and Gerard Mayo. We talked about it kind of off script how it was like that hiring chain for a while was the young hot, no offense to them, but the young hot white offensive coordinators, and now it's been um, these young black defensive minded coaches. So yeah, kudos to them. Even some of the defensive position coaches that have been moved up into defensive coordinators now. Our defensive coordinator and 2 of our guys left to be coordinators with the Titans and the Dolphins. So yeah, shout out to the young black defensive head coaches. But yeah, back to the Texans. I think my X factor for them is Henry Tua. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Um, he was a part of that young stellar rookie class from last season as well. He has 61 tackles, forced fumble, 2 pass defense. He didn't get any sacks, but he was a force there in the middle. I remember playing them twice, obviously. I think if he could take that next step, it'll definitely help that Texans defense for sure. On offense, I think their offensive line has to improve some. We played them twice, like I said. I think I told you this. If you blitzed up the middle against them, which we noticed in week 1 in the opener last year, he had a good chance of getting to CJ Stroud. He was running a lot there for a little while. It did improve on the back end of the season, but I think they need to improve a little bit more. And then now you add in Joe Mixon, so I think that'll add um, as far as the offensive line, that helps an offensive line. They love to run the ball, so I think that'll help overall. But yeah, this team could easily end up with one of the best records in the AFC, in my opinion. And honestly, in the NFL overall, I think the expectations are high for them, and I believe they'll exceed those expectations. How do you feel about the Houston Texans?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think they're definitely in a Super Bowl win now mode, especially with the free agent signs they got, as you mentioned, Stephon Diggs, then Daniil Hunter on the other side of the ball. I mean, CJ Stroud is still in his rookie contract, so they can kind of like
Yeah,
load that team up now before they have to pay CJ Stroud. I'm thinking, I was watching First Take earlier today. They talking about $500 million. I could definitely see that coming in the future
yeah,
down the line for him, the way these contracts turning out. But yeah, man, I really like this Joe Mixon pickup, excuse me. Stephon Diggs, get him along with Tank Dell and Nico Collins. They got
yep,
Dalton Schultz at the tight end position. They drafted a kid in the 4th round, Cade Stover, tight end. I've seen a little bit of the preseason games. Also been, on my like I said, I play fantasy football. I'm in this dynasty league. I've been hearing Cade Stover's been doing good things in training camp in the preseason and practices and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how he's going to look in that offense as well. Looking at the other players they drafted, and they didn't have any 1st round picks this year. 2nd round, they got Kamari Lassiter, and they also drafted a tackle, Blake Fisher, in the second round as well. So we'll see if those young guys can make immediate contributions to the team. Other guys that they picked up in free agency, excuse me, defensive end Nico Autry, and they also picked up Jeff Okuda, former lottery pick or 1st round draft pick. I think he played with the Lions, if I'm not
yes,
mistaken. But go along with the cornerback. They what's the cornerback's name? Blanking on me right now. They I think he was either a rookie last year or 2 years ago, but
Derek Stingley Jr.
he's really really good. So I
Yeah,
think both sides of the ball have potential to be great. I expect them to either finish first or second in this division. Right now, I'm leaning more towards first. I think CJ Stroud played great his rookie year. Surprised a lot of people. I don't think he'll have a sophomore slump. I think he'll have a. I think he's going to take another leap and be in MVP conversation going forward. I can kind of see him having like a Mahomes effect, where he's and the Texans just start winning the division for years to come and just dominate that division and maybe even the AFC. We'll see, but I definitely have them as a favorite right now in the AFC South. I think they're next up as long as CJ Stroud can remain healthy. I know he had a concussion or something last year and caused him to miss a couple of games, but as long as they can keep him healthy, I like I like their potential for sure, definitely for sure. All right, man. Who you want to talk about next in the AFC South?
Okay, I'm gonna go to the team that I think's gonna finish second place. And if y'all really watch me on this show, you'll know that I've downed this team over the past 2 years for sure. I think the Indianapolis Colts are gonna finish second in the AFC East. I've called them overrated again multiple occasions. Not this year though. I think they'll the X factor for this team though will be the backup quarterback. We talked about it a couple times last year. It's currently Joe Flacco. Um, I'm not just saying that because I'm a Ravens fan. He played for us. It's because we saw that Anthony Richardson obviously could not stay on the field much at all last season. We saw the injury stack up for him. But honestly, though, we look at the record from last year, 9-8. They finished that with again. He only played 5 games. Jonathan Taylor was in and out of the lineup, and plus they traded away probably the best defender they had in Shaq Leonard last November. And I was surprised that he's still a free agent. I think he was one of the best linebackers in the league. I know he had some injuries lately, but
Yeah,
he was one of the best linebackers in the league there for a couple years in a row. So, yeah, this offensive line has been one of the best ones in football, and they continue to be that way. Hearing good things about their second round wide receiver they drafted, Adane. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I'm sorry.
yeah. I think they
Mitchell
call him AD, but yeah,
AD. Okay, got you. Um, I heard very good things about him. I saw NFL Network was reporting live there a couple days, and that should be good for them as well to go along with Mike Pittman. A guy that's kind of proven his way so far. Defensively, I think the front four lead the way for this unit. DeForest Buckner, he's been doing it for a while. Quiddy Pay. Um, but yeah, I honestly see this team taking a step towards what they used to be with Peyton Manning, like consistent winners under Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor. If they keep him, I know there was some rumors of him getting traded last season. You got a good young nucleus with Michael Pittman. I think the tight end position kind of concerns me. These some guys I've never heard of, but I do kind of expect some early mistakes by Ant because he didn't play much. Again, 5 games last year, but you can't go wrong with him and JT. That offensive line can pass block, they can run block. And then I like the coach Shane Steichen came over from the Eagles. Um, Again, I mean it honestly shows when you miss your quarterback for 3/4 of the season, you still finish 9-8. You still finish with a winning record. That shows something. So the roster is pretty good there, honestly. I think again Shane Steichen will help develop Anthony Richardson like he did with Jalen Hurts early on in his career. I'm really liking the Colts this year to, believe it or not, finish above the Jaguars, who I've been a low key fan of. How do you feel about the Indianapolis Colts?
gotcha. I think it all depends. You kind of said it on the health of the guys like Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson. I think
Yep.
when Anthony Richardson did play, he kind of came out the gate smoking. I think he did pretty good. I can't remember the record early on, but I think he was had them at least like 2-2 or 3-1, if I'm not mistaken. But they
Mhm.
were competing, they were competitive, and like you said, I want to see how Joe Flacco looks out there if he does play. I don't know if he'll have that same magic like he did with the Browns, but we'll see. I mean, he is a veteran. He knows his stuff. He's won a Super Bowl. They also signed D tackle Raekwon Davis. They drafted a guy out of UCLA, edge rusher, Leatu Latu, if I said that correctly, sir. I think he's going to be a big help on that D line. Heard good things about him in the draft. I remember watching the draft show. I think Michael Parsons has some good things to say about him. So we'll see, man. I don't know if I have them finishing second. I might have them third. But it honestly depends on Anthony Richardson. I got it in my notes. Anthony Richardson healthy question mark. If he's
Yeah.
healthy, I think he can play, but he's got to learn. I think he learned already. Hey man, you can't be doing what you did in college. These boys, these are grown men you playing with. You hit
Yep.
them, they're gonna hit you back, and you're gonna hit that ground hard, which you found out the hard way. So hopefully he learns to slide, live to fight another day, throw the ball away if the play isn't there. So we'll definitely see. But I do like this team. Like you said, they got some weapons. Michael Pittman, I guess I was sleeping on him early on in his career, but this dude is definitely a baller looking at his stats. And
Yep.
I think AD Mitchell, I watched a little bit of NFL Network too. Steve Smith, I think he had him as like his top 10 receivers coming out of the draft. So I'm definitely going to pay attention to him because I know Steve Smith knows his stuff according to
Yeah.
wide receivers. So definitely going to see how he turns out this year too. But yeah, man, we'll see. They definitely can make some noise though. Well, like I said, Anthony Richardson showed a lot of potential promises for that injury. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, let's keep it moving. We got the Jaguars and the Titans. Which team you want to talk about, man?
I'm going to Duval County, Florida, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We all know I've been a low key fan of theirs since they drafted Trevor Lawrence a couple years ago. I'm not 100% sold on them right now heading into the season. They collapsed last year at the back end of the year. Not to mention they had a chance to go to the playoffs. All they had to do was go into Tennessee and win against I think it was a 4 and something win Tennessee Titans team, and they dropped it 28-20. I think the loss of Calvin Ridley will hurt them in two different ways. Number one, I think he caught damn near everything when he was out there. Part of the reason was Christian Kirk was in and out of the lineup. And number two, he's playing for the Titans now, so they offered him more money. He took it. I think he'll want some payback against his former team, so I think that'll hurt them in that way as well. But back to Christian Kirk, he's back. I think he's healthy. He was a reception machine before the Calvin Ridley experience last season. Again, he missed a lot of time last year. You also added a guy like Gabe Davis from the Bills and Devin Duvernay, both solid guys that can catch the ball. Duvernay wasn't exactly we didn't use him much from the receiver standpoint in Baltimore until like last year, the year before. But we know Gabe Davis made some plays up there with Josh Allen in Buffalo. And then on defense, they had a couple additions: Eric Armstead, Ronald Darby, Darnell Savage, joining a fairly young defense. I'm looking for Trayvon Walker. I want him to make a step in year three. He's kind of been quiet. He finished with 10 sacks last season. I mean that's pretty decent. He had 3.5 sacks in his rookie season, but we need a little bit more from you, big guy. I think he was first or second overall in the draft. So yeah, when you drafted that high, it's gotta it's gotta be a little bit more, in my opinion. But yeah, the pressure's on Doug Peterson this year, honestly, in my opinion. I think he's on a little bit of hot seat. His team's got to perform, especially the way they, lost those. I think it was 5 out of the last 6 down the stretch. But honestly, it's too bad they can't play their games across the pond because they're pretty good over there in London and places like that.
Oh,
So
they don't got
yeah,
any games this year in London.
excuse me. I think they got back to back there, but they need more games over there.
You want to play the
Excuse
whole
me.
season.
How you feel about the Jaguars?
I honestly, it's kind of the same situation with the Colts. It depends on Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. I know he was dealing with some injuries late in the season last year. I think that contributed to their downfall. Want to say it was like knee and ankle injuries he started dealing with. They drafted a guy in the first round, wide receiver Brian Thomas. I don't
Yep.
know if it will be enough to make up for the production that Calvin really had, but I mean, as long as Trevor Lawrence got him, like you said, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, I liked him a lot, even when he played the Giants. As long as he can stay healthy, I think the Jaguars will be okay. They need to make sure they protect Trevor Lawrence, though. They also picked up a center, Mitch Morse, in free agency. So hopefully that line, is new and improved and gives, Trevor Lawrence some time to throw the ball, run the ball if he wants to. Believe they also have a new defensive coordinator, Ryan Nielsen. So we'll see what he does to get a new scheme in there to make that defense any better. Like you said, they picked up a Armstead, a D tackle. So hopefully, like you said, he helps Trayvon. some more pressures on the quarterback, get some more sacks and things like that, and we'll see how that go. But I mean, I like this team. I got them right now. I said I don't know if the Texans will finish first or second because I like Trevor Lawrence a lot. He showed me some things, especially when that a playoff game where they came back and beat the Chargers. So I could see them finishing first in this division, honestly. But we'll see how it goes. Like I said, man, Trevor Lawrence can stay healthy. I think they can do a lot of good things, but we'll see. But yeah, I do like the Jaguars. This whole division, man. We're gonna talk about the Titans next, but honestly, I think this division is definitely gonna be like a drag 'em out dogfight, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
think even the Titans, I'm gonna talk about next. I think all of these teams have good chances being 500 or better and competing for a playoff spot, in my honest opinion. But yeah, man, I do like the Jaguars. I can see them finishing first and second, in my opinion, for sure. So yeah, we talk about the Titans next.
All right, yep. Teen Titans. You ever get a recipe from someone and or online from something, you just go in the kitchen, start dumping a bunch of shit in a bowl. You don't know how it's gonna come out. That's how I feel about the Texans. Like they got a bunch of pieces, man. We just don't know bunch of new pieces they added in. I just don't know how it's gonna all work out. I mean, Tony Pollard coming off a year where Dallas fans were fighting trying to get this guy in the game, and he really didn't do much. Calvin Ridley, he comes over from Jacksonville. Yes, he had a great season last year. Tyler Boyd, he's a consistent wide receiver as well. Jamal Adams kind of been on the quiet end of his career last couple years, and L'Jarius Sneed, he's coming off a Super Bowl win. But again, how are all these pieces going to come together and help this team, help this roster do better? I'm not sure just yet. Got a new head coach. They brought in the offensive coordinator from Cincinnati. He's now the head coach there. I guess that kind of makes sense why Tyler Boyd came over there. Um,
Yep, Brian
but
Callahan.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, Callahan. I couldn't think of his name. Thank you. But yeah, I don't have much faith in the Titans besides the fact that their wide receivers are pretty damn good. I'm really kind of surprised they let go of Derrick Henry. Um, but I'm glad to have him in Baltimore. Uh,
Oh, you are glad. Okay, okay. We're
I
gonna
mean,
talk
I'm
about that.
glad for him.
We're gonna
Let's
talk
put it this
about that.
way: I'm glad for us not to have to face him anymore. I think that we could run the ball with damn near any running back because we got the system in place, from the Greg Roman days, because that's all Greg Roman was good at was running the ball. But yeah, I think not having to face him anymore, at least for the next year to 2 years. I know he's under a 2 year contract, but you never know how that goes. Is definitely it's definitely a positive because I remember playing the Titans in the playoffs a couple years, and he did a little stiff arm to Earl Thomas, and Earl Thomas never recovered. Okay, but yeah, honestly, don't expect too much from the Titans myself. Again, I think they'll finish in fourth place. Um, but I do like big man on defense, Jeffrey Simmons. He's a defensive end.
Mhm.
He's another veteran defender that I like to watch. There's a couple guys around the league like that, Cam Hayward, Vita Vea, those type of guys. So yeah, definitely looking forward to watching them. But I'm not sure about the Tennessee Titans this year. I think they'll be in the bottom of the AFC South.
Yeah, if any team in this division is in the rebuild mode, is definitely the Titans. Like you said, they got a new head coach in Brian Callahan. He brought his dad over, if I'm not mistaken, Bill Callahan, who's like an all-time offensive line coach. So we'll see if that offensive line gives Will Levis time and
Mhm.
protection that he needs. They also got a new offensive coordinator, Nick Holtz. He is formerly with the Jaguars. We talked about this a little bit off air, some even on there, but it's been like a lot of movement in divisions, like AFC North players are going to different teams
Yep.
and coaches going to different teams. AFC South as well. A lot of players have gone, like you said, Calvin Ridley from the Jaguars now to the Titans. So I just thought that was interesting. Like you said, Derrick Henry's gone. Sean Murphy Bunty, he's gone. Linebacker Aziz Al Shair, he's gone as well. Like you said, they picked up L'Jarius Sneed. I think he'll have immediate impact. Can't wait to talk about the Chiefs when we talk about the AFC West. I want to touch a little bit more on that and his departure from them. But I definitely think he's going to have an immediate impact for the Titans. But yeah, I agree with you. If any team was going to be in a rebuild, or any team was going to finish last, it's going to be the Titans. But honestly, I saw some flashes from Will Levis So I wouldn't be surprised if they come out the gates fighting and competing, and hovered around 500 and finish at like 9-8 or something like that. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I think Will Levis has the ability to get some things done and win some games in his league. But of all the teams in this AFC South, I do have them ranked last, but I'm not sleeping on them if you want to put it that way. But I do have some concerns. Is Derrick Henry, he wasn't the whole offense, but he was a big portion of the offense. How is Tony
Yep.
Pollard and the other running backs going to fill that void? We'll have to see. I do like Calvin Ridley, though. Hopefully, he can remain healthy. He's got his new contract now, so I think we'll have a comfortability going into the season. If he can just stay healthy, he can produce. But like I said, protect Will Levis. Let him see what he can do out there if he can win some games for them. But yeah, man, if any team finishes last, I guess that's going to be the Titans, but we'll definitely see. I'm not sleeping on them, though. I won't be surprised if they make some noise in the AFC South and AFC in general. So, yeah, that's the AFC South. Let's get into the AFC North next.
All right. The only division in football to send three teams to the playoffs last year, and honestly, Cincinnati was right there on the edge, for real, for real. Besides, because the Dolphins had three more wins than them, but they still could have definitely been a playoff team in the NFC if they were there. So, which team do you want to hit on first in the AFC North?
I want to start with the Steelers because last week you said you had some some smoke for Patrick Queen. So I want to start with the Steelers first. Um, listen, man, I think Russell Wilson, he's going to be the quarterback to start. Steelers Nation, let's ride. I don't know. I think that's the Broncos Nation, let's ride. Pick is gone. Russell Wilson's in. Arthur Smith, he's a new offensive coordinator now. Previously, the head coach of the Falcons. So he's going to come over. Like I said, Patrick Queen's a new linebacker coming over for the Ravens. Johnson, excuse me, he's gone in the trade. They got a cornerback, Dante Jackson, for him. They drafted Troy Fautanu in the first round. He's an OT or offensive tackle. Then they drafted a center, Zach Frazier, in the second round. So they definitely focus on this offensive line, which has kind of been a little a heel in their side going last season and the years beyond that. So we'll see if this offensive line is new and improved. They lost Allen Robinson in free agency, Patrick Peterson, the cornerback, and Keanu Neal in free agency as well. There's a lot of noise and hoopla about if Brandon Ayuk is going to join the team in a trade or not. I haven't seen anything about that, but they definitely could use him. I know George Pickens had a great year as a rookie last year, but who knows if he can come in those shoes and be the number one wide receiver. I'm trying to think of the other wide receivers they got that will help him out. Chase Claypool left, and now he's out with the Bills after having that season injury and toe injury. So we'll see. They still got Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. I think Jalen Warren kind of overtook Najee, who surprisingly, in my
Yeah.
opinion, still had over 1,000 yards rushing, which is crazy to me because it seemed like every time he touched a damn ball, he was only getting like 2-3 yards. That's
Yep.
some crazy happening. So we'll see. But I don't know, man. Russ, it's weird. Like you would think Russ had a bad season last year. Looking at their record, he did, but he threw 26 touchdowns, only had 8 interceptions. So if you look at it that way, his numbers weren't that bad. It's just the team just couldn't get it done all the way. Talking about the Broncos. So coming over here, he had Sean Payton. Now he's coming over to Mike Tomlin. We'll see how he does. Stay away from the damn sleds, please. You're a quarterback. You're not a D lineman, not a linebacker, not a running back. You don't need to be pushing the damn sleds. You already see what happened with your strained calves. So hopefully you don't, come into the season because I think it is his job. I think Justin Fields played well, but he had those 2 fumbles in the preseason last game, and I kind of think that messed up his momentum. So I think Russell Wilson's going to have this job. But yeah, man. As far as where they'll finish in this division, I don't know. Mike Tomlin, he always coaches them up well. He always has them 500 or better and making the playoffs. But I don't know. These other 3 teams we're going to talk about, man, I really think they're going to make some noise. So we'll see. I think out of all the 4 teams, they will probably finish last. But Mike Tomlin's proved everybody wrong numerous times. We'll see. What about you? How you feeling about the Steelers?
Week 11, Sunday, November 17th at Pittsburgh, and week 16, Saturday, December 21st at the bank. I hope that Lamar Jackson is healthy. I hope that Derrick Henry is healthy. I hope my guy Keaton Mitchell is back. I hope Justice Hill is healthy. I hope that Mark Andrews and Charlie Kohler, he's our third tight end, and my man Isaiah Likely, I hope they're all healthy because Patrick Queen was running his mouth during right after he signed with Pittsburgh, rightfully so. He got his coin, and I want to expose him because Patrick Queen is a little bit undersized. Love the guy. I would have loved that he resigned in Baltimore. I actually told you that he was a guy that I think y'all should have signed because I know you mentioned y'all's linebacker situation as well. But um, again, it was so strange this all season. So many guys were going in the division, and that one did kind of catch me off guard. I didn't see him going to the Steelers. Again, they needed linebacker help, but I didn't see it. So, um, yeah, he was running his mouth a little bit. I can't remember exactly what he said. I didn't look it up. But yeah, I hope we expose his ass. Um, best of luck. Besides that, and every other week. Besides that, I hope he does well. I hope he's a Pro Bowler. I hope he balls out for them. I honestly hope he improves the linebacker position because linebacker that middle part of the defense and the whole offense, which I'm gonna get to in a second, until almost halfway of the season was absolutely terrible for the Steelers last year. It was honestly embarrassing. And if I was a Steelers fan, I would have been like, wow, this is probably the worst we've had at all time. But yeah, um, I hope our guys expose him. I hope Derrick Henry stiff arms him. I hope Mark Andrews hits him off the block. Let him know. You should have stayed in Baltimore or kept your mouth shut, even if you go on to Pittsburgh. But yeah, all right. To my main points: 16 seasons, never a losing record. I expect the same this year. Honestly, Mike Tomlin is the reason why I see this team improving this year. I still have them finishing third place in the AFC North. Um, Record wise, I mean they was 10-7 last year. I'm not sure they'll improve off of that because I mean that's pretty damn good, honestly. Again, they still made the playoffs. They lost to Kansas City, I believe it was, there in a frigid game last January. But yeah, this offense was offensive. It was horrendous. It was terrible. You could put every bad word around it last season. Like it was quite funny to me, honestly. Uh, but when they had Matt Canada, it was literally one of the worst offenses in football. I remember sending you the video of the guy Josh Prey on Facebook. He was talking about how bad the offense was. He was like imitating Mike Tomlin. He was like something about he don't want to point fingers, but if you just look at the United States on the map and look at the country above, that's the reason why they was so bad. It was bad, y'all. Just in case y'all forgot. But yeah, Arthur Smith is there now. Their focus is going to be on running the ball. I think, like you said, Jalen Warren is probably going to be the bell horse for them. Even though Najee is a starter right now, and like you said, he finished with a productive season last year, but it still was bad. I think part of that again goes back to the offense coordinator situation. But I don't think Najee Harris has performed overall like the Steelers expected when they drafted him so high. So I do kind of feel like this could be a do or die year for him. You know what I'm saying? One, because players don't stay in teams long at all anymore. But two, because he hasn't exceeded those expectations of a Steeler running back. You talk about Willie Parker. You talk about Jerome Bettis. You talk about Deuce Staley. I mean, those guys were really, really damn good. And he's good, but he's not to their level, honestly. But like you said, this team's success this season, I think, will depend on the quarterback situation. Will we see a rejuvenated Russ or some of the issues he had in Denver? We both think that it wasn't necessarily his fault out there, but the stats are the stats, the record is the record, the gameplay is the gameplay. It is what it is. I honestly feel like it's gonna be Justin Fields come week one. I honestly got this feeling, but um, Again, on the depth chart right now, it's Russell Wilson. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, they got big Pat Fryer moved out there, George Pickens, those running backs. I expect definitely an improvement as far as the offensive side of the ball goes. Defensively, big names at each level: T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, um, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr. coming off his rookie season. My favorite guy to watch on their defense, Big Cam Hayward. I mentioned the big guys up front. I really like them around the league. Veteran defensive lineman. He's been a headache to our offensive linemen every year he's been in the league. Honestly, it seems like he gets a sack against us in every game for sure. But yeah, they got to improve that linebacker position. They paid Patrick Queen a good amount of money to help shore up that spot. Because like you said, with your defense, it seemed like when y'all was playing defense and you look, the linebackers just disappeared. That's how it was with Pittsburgh too. You thought yours was bad, they was just as bad last year. Um, and they even bought in the guy from Jacksonville was pretty good. I think it was Miles Jack, if I'm not mistaken. He was the one that
I
retired
think
and then
so.
came back. I can't remember his name, but they bought he was a pretty good linebacker for them, and they bought him in halfway through the season because they had him the season before, I think, and then the linebacker position was so horrendous. The early part of last year, they re-signed him, got him out of retirement, and he's not on the roster now. But I think it was Miles Jack. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, one of their best offensive low key off-season moves, I think, was bringing Cordell Patterson. This guy, obviously a punt returner and kick returner, but also run the ball as well. So you talk
Yeah.
about Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. Cordell Patterson can get in there and run the ball too. I mean, he did it in Atlanta, and he did it quite well. So yeah, I think the Steelers will finish third, but again, they'll be above 500. I have no doubt about that. It's just not in Tomlin's nature to finish with a losing record. I expect the same in year 17 for the now longest tenured head coach in the National Football League. What team you
Gotcha.
want to go to next in the North?
Before we go there, so I know you want your guys healthy when you play against the Steelers. So you do want Patrick Queen healthy too, right? Or that don't
Oh yeah,
matter.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. I wish him all the best. I want him out there for sure. We got to expose him.
You got understood. Understood. All right. Let's talk about the Browns next, man. Let's talk about Cleveland next.
Ooh, okay.
They signed my boy Jameis Winston. They signed your boy Tyler Huntley, who you
Yeah.
talked about. We talked about off air. I know you want him. They picked up
Yep.
Zadarius Smith, linebacker Jordan Hicks, Quentin Jefferson. He's a D tackle. They picked up Deontay Foreman, running back, Naheem Hines. They also got Jerry Judy in free agency. Nick Chubb still dealing with that knee injury. I don't know if he'll be ready to play week one. So we'll definitely see how these running backs they got now will fill a void until Chubb is healthy enough to come back. Draft wise, they didn't have any first round picks, if I'm not mistaken. The second round, they drafted Mike Hall Jr. He was out of Ohio State, and then he's a D tackle. The third round, they got my guy out of Michigan, Go Blue, guard Zach Zinner. So that's kind of funny. The two guys they drafted second and third round played against each other in college, heated rivals. Now they're teammates. I wonder how those practices go when those teams go against each other. And in the fifth round, they got a wide receiver James or Jamari Thrash. No relation to James Thrash, everyone. So we'll
Oh,
see how that goes out. No relation to James Thrash. And new offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey is now the new coordinator. So we'll see how that goes.
Bill.
Deshaun Watson, what are we gonna do, man? I think you got your contract is guaranteed and everything, but I feel like the seat is getting a little hot. You're going into your third year now, if I'm not mistaken. If not third, at least second. But injuries, up and down play. You got hurt. Then Flacco came in and he led the team to the playoffs and even got them a playoff win. So, yeah, man, I think you got the bad press just from the legal issues you were having. So a lot of people on your side. But what you gonna do, man? I think, in my opinion, it goes how Deshaun Watson goes. If he comes in and plays well, they got a chance with the team they got, especially on the defense side of the ball, the weapons they have, the elite weapons they got on defense side of the ball. Miles Garrett, I mean, perennial, all-time, all-pro type of player, wreaks havoc. will knock you the hell out with a helmet if you mess with him the wrong way. Um, Deshaun Watson, what you gonna do, man? Hopefully, I'm hoping you have a bounce back year and kind of. I don't know if you'll ever be have that production you have with the Texans, just the injuries and the wear and tear and everything. But hopefully, you can make some things happen. I like the Jerry Judy addition. If he can stay healthy, I think that's a good pickup for them in that wide receiver room. David Njoku, always a solid guy with numbers wise. I don't think he gets the credit or accolades that he deserves. I don't know if he's ever been like an All Pro. I could be wrong about that, but I definitely think he's an All Pro, Pro Bowl caliber type player. So we'll see. I kind of got them the first and second is between Ravens and Bengals to me, but the Browns are like a wild horse to me, man. They're a wild card. I can see them finishing first place. Honestly, if everybody stays healthy and Deshaun Watson plays well, I don't know how Deshaun Watson is going to be. It's like he lost his juice, in my opinion, when he sat out a year and then the injury started happening. So I don't know if he'll ever regain that. But if he does, definitely look out for the Browns. That think they can make some noise if Deshaun Watson, can get back to where he used to be, or at least close to it. What you think about the Browns?
Jag, just another guy. Welcome to AFC North, Jerry Judy. I wish we could hit like we could back in the early 2000s and 2010s, man. Especially after the comments you had with our former wide receiver Steve Smith, like you mentioned him in another case earlier. Yeah, welcome to AFC North, big guy. But yeah, this I like the Browns. I do. I just think that the other three teams in this division is a little bit better than them. They
Mm.
uh like you mentioned, they went to the playoffs last year. Joe Flacco came in, really shut me up, honestly, because I didn't think they was gonna do nothing with him in there. And what
You
they
shut a lot
lost,
of
they
people up.
lost first round. Yeah. um, but yeah, it's crazy how talented this roster is. They have one of the best defenses in football. Like literally, they was setting a couple records last year. One of the best offensive lines in football. One of the best backs. I hate playing them. The two times we got to play him, but Nick Chubb, man, Jerome Ford came on strong last year. Like you mentioned, they added Dante Foreman as well. Uh, Njoku, like you mentioned, he's a beast in my opinion. He always has seems like a touchdown against us as well. Very physical guy, and those wide receivers, as you mentioned, pretty damn good. Mari Cooper, um,
Yeah.
Jerry Judy, and Elijah Moore. Yeah, those guys are pretty good. But again, the quarterback is Deshaun Watson. Um, I don't like saying it, but we got to. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If he could stay, it's can he stay healthy? That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned, he mentioned he missed a little bit of time last year. He set out. And I honestly think this is probably the best quarterback room they had as well. Any of these guys could honestly start for this team and do the same thing that Joe Flacco did last year. Watson, Jameis Winston, Tyler Huntley, and Dorian Thompson Robinson. I'm surprised Dorian Thompson Robinson is the fourth guy on the roster right now. I mean, he was pretty good. The little bit of game action that he got last year as a rookie. So yeah,
I think he
honestly,
got hurt,
again,
didn't he?
yeah, he did get hurt. I think that's how Flacco ended up in there. But again, I hope that Tyler Huntley gets cut, and I hope that we can sign him because we need some help at the backup quarterback position that we'll get to later on. But yeah, this team is definitely equipped to make some noise next year. This might be the division that sends all four teams to the playoffs. I mean, I'm not being biased because it's my division. I know them,
Not
and
at
my
all.
team is one of them. No, I you probably agree. It's probably one of the best divisions, if not the best division in football. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this. I think the only thing that'll hurt the division at all altogether, as a side note, is the fact that we're going to be on Hard Knocks during the season. I think it's the whole division they're doing the inside, and you know how that goes when you're on Hard Knocks. It ain't exactly a good season. So up next, who you got? Cincinnati, Nasty Natty, or Charm City?
Let's stick with the double O. Let's stick in Ohio with the Bengals. Joe Burrow is back. He's healthy. He's playing in
Yep.
the preseason. I think he's gonna come out with a vengeance. He's got a new hairdo, cut his hair off, looking like Slim Shady, blonde
Yep.
hair now. So honestly, man, if he can, as long as he can remain healthy, I say this about everyone, but he's went head to head with Mahomes a few times, and he's got the best of him a good number of times. So I think as long as he's healthy, honestly, I think they're going to win the division. I think they're going to be in first place, man. They did lose Joe Mixon. I am concerned about that. Who's going to replace his production? Not only running the ball, but I think he was pretty good catching it out of the backfield as well. They did pick up Zach Moss in free agency. They also had a guy they drafted last year, Chase Brown, I think his name is. He had a couple of good games when he did play, so I do expect him to take a little leap. But I want to see if he, has the talent enough to be an every down type back, or at least good enough to produce when he is on the field. Um, Free agency though, I said they picked up Zach Moss. They also signed tight end Mike Gesicki. Joe Burrow's really good with his tight ends. Mike Gesicki played the Dolphins. I wouldn't be surprised if he has his best year going over now with the Bengals with Mike Gesicki. They also picked up Sheldon Rankins, a D tackle. He's pretty good. Geno Stone and Von Bell, and they picked up the tackle from the Patriots, Trent Brown. Draft wise, they drafted Amarius Mims in the first round, and then they drafted a D tackle in the second round of Michigan Go Blue, Chris Jenkins. In the third round, they drafted a wide receiver, Jermaine Burton. So, yeah, man, I think Joe Burrow is going to come in with a vengeance. Last year, had the wrist injury. I think he had like appendix surgery or appendicitis or something in the offseason. So he was banged up in the offseason. Didn't really have that much time, in my opinion, to get ready for the last season. This season, like I said, he's playing in the preseason. He looked sharp the last game he was out there, for that series or two when he was out there. I think he's going to come out the gate running. T. Higgins, there, I think they franchise tagged him, so we'll see. And I know Jamar Chase is holding in, but I think he's going to play, and he's like one of the best receivers. That
Yeah.
that tandem, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, definitely going to have D coordinators and secondaries up all night trying to make sure they keep them in check. But Joe Burrow, man, I just have a feeling he's going to come out the gate smoking, and I think him and his team are definitely going to win the division, in my opinion. How you feeling about the Bengals?
Yeah. Worst to first. I agree. Joe
Mm,
Burrow, one of those quarterbacks that can make that leap if he's healthy. And for real, they won 9 games with him out most of the season. Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, they're gone, of course, but they bring in Zach Moss. Um, I'm not sure that he's going to have the same production, but he did have 7 total touchdowns, nearly 1,000 scrimmage yards last season. Plus, they got a good rookie that I've been hearing a lot about, Jermaine Burton, wide receiver. In his first preseason game, 3 receptions, 82 yards, and a touchdown against the Bucks. Pretty good production there. We're excited to see what he does in the next couple of weeks as well. Offensive line, they got veteran leadership now. The only guy that's on the line, they have one guy that's under the age of 27 in the starting lineup. Defensively, I think the only thing that concerns me is the secondary. They did go out and add our former safety, Geno Stone. He had 7 interceptions, so that'll definitely help to go along with their corner. Cam Taylor Britt, he hauled in 4 interceptions last year. The defensive line has been a force over the years, low key. Sam Hubbard, Sheldon Rankins, BJ Hill, and the veteran Trey Henderson. He's another guy that always seems to get a sack, him and Cam Hayward against my Ravens offense. Um, those guys up front combined for more than 15 sacks last year. It doesn't sound like much, but for a team to finish in fourth place, I think it's pretty good. Like you mentioned, Jamar Chase, he's kind of doing his sit out thing. He's at camp, but he's just not practicing. I think for some reason, for unforeseen reason, which I don't see this happening, but if he was to get traded, I think that would be the only thing that would hold them back from not finishing in first place. But yeah, I believe Cincinnati is going to be back next season. I think Joe Burrow was my MVP pick last season before he got hurt, and I'm not saying that I'm going to pick him yet this year, but I think he'll definitely have a damn good season as well. I guess there's only one team left to talk about in the AFC North now. So
Last
how do
but
you feel
not
about the
least,
Ravens?
the
Yep.
Ravens. I'm gonna let you go. I just want to note a couple of things, and I'm gonna let you get into it. They had 9 picks in the draft this year. Y'all, I swear, y'all have every year y'all hit a home run in the draft with somebody, at least one player. A couple years ago was a Kyle Hamilton. This dude looks like a future Hall of Famer. So let's see. Y'all got drafted Nate Wiggins, a cornerback, in the first round. I know he got banged up a little bit, but I think he'll be fine to play. He looked good. He had a couple pass breakups in that preseason game, his last game. Tackle Roger Rosengarten in the second round. Linebacker Diza Isaac in the third round. Wide receiver Devontae Walker in the fourth round. Cornerback TJ Tampa in the fourth round. Running back Rasheen Ali in the fifth round. Y'all and these running backs, either undrafted or late round picks, always a damn diamond in the rough. I mean, Keaton Mitchell came out the blue. Quarterback
Undrafted. Yep.
Devin Leary in the sixth round. I don't think you're too high on him yet from the comments
Yeah.
we had off air. We'll see if he's got anything to say about that. Center Nick Samek in the seventh round, and safety Sanusi Kane in the seventh round. I do have a little bit of concerns. Y'all drafted a lot of players, y'all lost a lot of players in free agency. 3 of y'all starting old linemen. I think you mentioned that in the when we finished the season last year. We talked about Patrick Queen, of course, and then Jadeveon Clowney. So I'm interested to see how that is going to work out as far as the loss of productivity with those 3 starting linemen. Who's going to fill that void? And then the D line. I know you always had a little bit of issues with your guys' D line and Jadeveon Clowney. So who's going to provide that production? Y'all got Derrick Henry in the free agency though. I feel like I was more happy about him signing with y'all than you were. I
Right.
want you to touch on that a little bit more. I think he's definitely going to help out with the offense, put a little pressure off Lamar Jackson, and then you got a new defensive coordinator. As we all know, Mike McDonald. He's now the head coach of the Seahawks. He was your D coordinator. I think you wanted Anthony Weaver to be the DC. If I can't
Yes.
remember, we talked about it. He was their assistant head coach. He left to be the DC in Miami now, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, I'm gonna give the floor to you though. Want to see how you feel, but I just want to know how do you feel about Derrick Henry now that we're getting close to the season? And of course, you can talk more about the Ravens in general.
Um, Derrick Henry, excuse my French. That's a big nigga. For real, for real. That's a big nigga, and he could wear down the defense. So, from that standpoint, I'm excited because we talk about that's one thing you always heard about him. It's like he could wear down the defense between the 20s. You know what I'm saying? The 20 on your backside, and then the 20 on the other side of the field, and then the way he could score touchdowns on the goal line, he could run it in, he can catch it, he can throw them.
Yeah,
Um, he has multiple ways to get in the end zone, but again, I feel like this we've always been a running team because for several years we never had a good quarterback uh, to have a good passing game, so we had to rely on the run. Greg Roman came over and it got even better. Like 2019, we set records. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then when we got Todd Monken from Georgia, everybody's like, "Oh, we're waiting for Lamar to throw the ball. We're waiting to see how he can evolve as a passer and this and that." And honestly, I think he already had those skills in like 2019. He was just as good through the air as he was on the ground. But again, when we got Todd Monken, they kept Greg Roman's run schemes for the most part. He was just trying to evolutionize or help LJ's passing, which did look really good last year, honestly, in my opinion. So yeah, I think we could run the ball with anybody. Again, I'm gonna get to the guys that left in free agency in a second. Justice Hill's there, Keaton Mitchell. I cannot wait until he comes back. I mean, this guy was
yeah,
straight up and down the field, man. Guys missing, guys looking around like, where'd he go? You know what I'm saying? Look like just like Lamar Jackson. And then like you mentioned, Rasheen Ali, hearing good things about him as well. So I think the run game can definitely go with anybody. But I again, I'm more happy that he's on our team than us having to face him. Again, as a member of the Titans, Because again, that's a big nigga. He could wear down your defense for sure. But turning the page, you ever sit in your office at work, Ed, and hear construction work trucks making noises, loud noises, backing up, beep beep beep. That's our offensive line right now, man. It's going through reconstruction for real, for real. You got Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum, the only returning starters from last year. I predicted it was going to go that way, and I did kind of think that Ronnie Stanley might have got traded or cut, but I think his the salary cap hit would have been too high at this point of his contract because of what we gave him a couple seasons ago. But as of now, we got Stanley at left tackle, Andrew Voorhees. He's coming off of ACL at the 2023 draft. Didn't play at all last year. He was a seventh round pick. We
Mm.
traded back into the draft to get him because we only had six picks last year. Um, and I remember asking like some of the guys in my picks league, I was like, why the fuck did we draft a guy that's going to be missing the entire season? Like he legit just got hurt. And it was like he was probably going to be a top 20 pick in the draft, but he had that ACL, so he dropped. I was like,
Mm.
okay, makes sense. So now he's going to be the starting left guard at the moment. Tyler Linderbaum, first round pick from last year. Him and no, might have been the year before. Um, but yeah, he's solid. Daniel Faala'i, he's one of my favorite linemen for us in a long time. He's very tall. He's very big. He's probably, from what I understand, one of the biggest offensive linemen to come out to be drafted in a very long time, if not ever, from what I heard. And then Patrick McCarry is a right tackle. Now a lot of people don't know Patrick McCarry, but he is a like a Swiss Army knife. Honestly, he's played all five positions on our offensive line. When guys have gotten banged up over the past years, I would have put Falehi at right tackle because he's a natural tackle and he's so big. Going to be it's going to be kind of weird to see because Falehi is so much taller and bigger than Patrick McCarry. Patrick McCarry is the size of an undersized center or guard, honestly. But again, he could play all positions. I would have put Ben Cleveland at right guard, and that would have been my offensive line. But we'll see how it works. I mean, obviously, I'm not the coach, but um, out goes J.K. Dobbins and my guy Gus Edwards. In comes Derrick
Mm.
Henry. Again, I'm excited to see the way he could wear down the defense. Great on the goal line, but yeah, we can run the ball with anybody. So we'll see how it goes. Again, I cannot wait to see Keaton Mitchell back. Hopefully, he's back in time for a potential playoff run, and he's 100% healthy. Hopefully, they don't rush him back. Um, Nelson Aguilar. We talked about him off script. Apparently, he ain't had a good camp, man. But I think they're gonna keep him because he was one of the first guys that we re-signed in the off season last year after the AFC Championship. Zay Flowers sticking to the wide receiver position. Um, just catch the damn ball, get first downs, score touchdowns, control your emotions, man. We saw what happened in the AFC Championship.
Mm.
Um, had a touchdown, got overturned, fumbled, and all types of stuff. Rashad Bateman, God, I hope this guy stays healthy because he is an automatic first down machine. It don't matter if you first and 15 because you got a backed up on a penalty, first and 10, first and 5, whatever. He gonna get you a first down on whatever down it is when he catches the ball. LJ, my guy, big trust, got number 8 on, all black. Please stay healthy too, not just because you the reigning MVP and you two-time MVP and we know what you could do on the field, not just because you are basically our offense, but this backup quarterback situation is a mess. I mean, it is a mess. Josh Johnson, 37 years old. He's number 2. Devin Leary, he's the guy we drafted late in the draft past April. And Emory Jones, I don't even know who the hell this guy is, but he
Was he the
came
one who
in
fumbled?
and yes,
Well, he got strip
going right
sacked.
to it. Soon as he came in the damn game, all we had to do is kneel on the ball, and the game would have ended in a tie. Preseason don't matter. And the first goddamn play he fumbles, boy. I said, this don't make no sense. Boy.
Hold on, man. He got strip sacked. It wasn't. I mean, he fumbled, but the ball got hit out his head, man. Come on, man. Give him a break.
I don't care. It's on him and Todd Monken. Sit on the damn ball. I would have changed the play and be like, let's what they say, live to play another down, live to play a tie game. Okay. It's the preseason. Now you got that on your record. You know what I'm saying? That's not looking good against you because you're probably only going to keep three quarterbacks, honestly. Most teams don't do four. Some teams only do two. Um, and then you got Ravens fans going crazy on social media talking about, oh, we should have got Trace McSorley back, which, you know, he signed with y'all the other day, and or Tyler Huntley. So we got three guys that nobody in Baltimore wants. Lamar, please stay healthy. Offensive line, protect your quarterback. Lamar, get down. Please stay healthy. Please.
They said he
But yeah,
lost 15 pounds, 20, 15 pounds
yes.
this off season too. So maybe
Um,
he'll come in a little better shape or a little faster. We'll see.
yeah, and they asked him about that. They said that he was watching film and he saw that he
Hmm.
got caught a couple times, or you know, too many times for his liking. Or he either got caught or he was on the verge of getting caught. So he said he wanted to trim down, get his speed back. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Um,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to more two tight end sets with Mark Andrews coming back healthy this year. Isaiah Likely, he was a force when Andrews left out. It's kind of like we didn't even lose a step there. And honestly, like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Patrick Queen, Charlie Kohler is pretty good himself. You know what I'm saying? He had to fill in for the number 2 spot last year, and he was making some plays as well. Our defense, stellar unit. Honestly, Travis Jones, he's our third year defensive tackle. They're listing him as a right defensive end, but I've heard in the first preseason game he spent a lot of his all season working out with Justin Matabuke, who had a breakout season last year. He got paid. Hopefully it works out because he's pretty good. You know, we really liked him. We really liked him when he got drafted. I remember Harbaugh talking very highly about him. Adafi Owe and David Ajobo. I always pronounce his name wrong. I don't know if I got it right. Former Michigan Wolverine, right?
Yeah, go Boo.
Uh, I need my guys to step up because we lost Jadavion Clowney, like you mentioned. His 9.5 sacks are now in Carolina, and he's probably going to make a good addition to that team there. But yeah, we need to get 99 and David Ajobo going for sure. I mean, we've been waiting for these guys to have the type of impact that we need, and we definitely need it now. I'm really high on Trenton Simpson to take over for Patrick Queen in the middle. As I mentioned, Patrick Queen, a great sideline to sideline linebacker, but he struggled against the pass. Simpson was high coming out of Clemson. I remember telling, I think, some of the guys in my pick league as well. I was really happy when we drafted him because I heard a lot of good things about him. Um, so yeah, I also heard in the first preseason game as well. They said that he's a very respectful young man. He kind of reminded them of our broadcast team of Ray Lewis for the way that he prepares and he watches film and he trains and all that stuff. So yeah, if he can be anything like Ray Lewis, we definitely got a stud there. Back in, man. You mentioned Kyle Hamilton. It starts and it stops there. I mean, honestly, I'm not even biased. I think he's the best safety in the National Football League. I think he can line up anywhere. He reminds me of um, Troy Polamalu for the way that we line him up anywhere, and he can blitz the quarterback and he can make those plays like him. But of course, he's still got a little bit of Ed Reed in him because he's playing in Baltimore. Um, a great season he had last year, and I only expect things to improve with him as he continues to grow in this league. Our nickelback, Arthur Millette, he's expected to miss some time. He was really good last year when I thought our secondary was going to be a weakness for us last year. We ended up with the second ranked pass defense. So I'm expecting good things from him if he comes back. I don't know how long he's out for, but yeah, I'm hoping to see him back very soon. Marlon Humphrey,
Uh oh.
my almost my almost offensive player of the week against the Rams last year. He better not have a season like he did that one game because Ravens fans, including myself, was ready to get rid of his ass and ship him back to Alabama where he played college ball at. Man, after that game, we was tired of him, boy. But we did win the game. But yeah, looking forward to seeing Nate Wiggins out there. And the veteran Eddie Jackson we drafted. I mean, excuse me, we
Right.
picked up a couple weeks ago from the Bears. Nate Wiggins had a great preseason debut. He did get He did get a little banged up right after the second half kickoff. So I think they're kind of taking it day to day with him. And in camp, they're saying like he's literally like a blanket. Like everywhere the receiver goes, he's there. And it looked like the same in the first preseason game against the Eagles. So yeah, I'm excited to see him out there. I don't think he'll take over the starting spot against Brandon Stevens because Brandon Stevens had a um, good season last year when he shifted in the second corner position, but I think he could be a nickel or come in and play some different packages as well and slowly get more playing time. Best kicker in the NFL, obviously, Justin Tucker. I have no concerns with him. The only thing I just hope he doesn't miss, he does miss about 3 or 4 field goals a year. Hopefully he's more accurate and only misses about one or two because Young Wei Koo and who's the other guy? Kansas City. Harrison Butker is right on his
Mm.
tail, man. Those guys are pretty damn good as well. Our punter is pretty good as well. Um, we just drafted him a couple years ago, so I'm feeling good about our special teams unit, except for our punt and kick returner. We lost Devin Duvernay, who was a Pro Bowl returner. Now down there in Duval County playing ball for the Jaguars. I don't know who the hell is going to play returner at this point. Right now, they got Deontay Hardy listed as our punt and kick returner, but they was kind of shifting guys in and out in the first preseason game, as to be expected, because you want to get everybody a chance to figure out um, who's the best one back there. I honestly would put my guy back there. Forgot his name, Tylen Wallace, because I think he
Mm.
won the game against the Rams, the game that Marlon Humphrey fucked up so bad. He kind of recovered in overtime and got us that game. But yeah, the bottom line is this: Baltimore, man, the offensive line got to come together fast. Defensive line got to continue to get the quarterback. We led the league in sacks last year. Again, no stupid ass bonehead penalties like we had in the AFC Championship. We could not have that. Justin Matabikwe, before he really balled out last season, he had about 2 or 3 games where he had um, personal foul type penalties, and he was on the verge of really. I was like, I think he's going to have a downward spiral, and then he just out of nowhere, he didn't make another mistake for the rest of the season. But yeah, and then we got to develop again a returner. So yeah, those are my concerns right now. But I feel good about us this season. I think we'll finish second. I do like Cincinnati finish first. I still think we'll make the playoffs. And sometimes we play better as a wild card team than we do as a division winner or the number one seed. Obviously, the number one seed last 2 times we got booted divisional round in 2019 and last year in the AFC Championship. So I like our chances this year. Again, I would not be surprised if this division sends all 4 teams
Hmm.
to the playoffs in AFC.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely agree with that. And I kind of I think last year I said I think Lamar would have an MVP type season just because he had his contract out the way.
I remember you
I
said
wouldn't be
that.
surprised if he went back to back MVP seasons.
Mm,
I wouldn't be surprised honestly, but we'll definitely see.
yep.
But yeah, man. So that's it. We got the AFC. We did the AFC North, AFC South today. We only got 2 divisions left. So next week we'll be talking about the AFC West and the AFC East, and then after that we'll start getting into the regular season. I can't wait. Uh,
Yep.
so yeah, man. You got any last words, Brandon?
Um, I'm gonna just give y'all a preview. I'm picking Kansas City to win the AFC West next week when we come on the air. I'm not even gonna let y'all wait. Uh, I'm also picking them to go very far in the playoffs, if not the Super Bowl. Already got my mindset there, so um, hopefully they don't do either of those things, and I'll be feeling really good at the end of next season. But yeah, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, looking forward to talk about the West. A lot of new additions out there. We got Antonio Pierce, like I said, going into his full first season as a head coach. You got your guy from Michigan, your former head coach,
Harbaugh.
um,
Yeah.
Harbaugh. He'll be out there. We'll see how fast he develops that team, or he inherited a pretty good team. We'll see how that goes. And AFC East, I'm not expecting too much from them this coming season,
Mm,
but we'll see how they go. But
definitely
again, we
talk
got
about
another
them.
young black coach as well to talk about with Gerard Mayo out there, and Tua coming off a new contract. So yeah, a lot of
Gotcha.
stuff going on next week.
Aaron Rodgers, man. What you mean? We'll get into it. We'll get
Oh
into it
yeah,
next week.
my
We'll get
guy,
into it next week. We'll
my
get into it
guy
next week.
too. Yep,
Yeah.
forgot about my guy.
Yeah. Well, all right, everyone. That's it. Another episode of the Breaking and Entering podcast. I want to thank everyone who takes the time, watches our show. I want to say like, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, now known as X as well. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.